Hi everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today we are touring the Bentley Bentayga. This car is worth over £200,000. Now if you have been on this channel and you have been following us, you have seen we are exploring the luxury SUV market right now. So if you aren't subscribed, please subscribe to the channel. It really does help the channel a lot. We will be able to tour bigger, better homes and more luxurious cars. And for now, let's begin this tour. Is a 4-litre twin turbo V8 engine going up to 550 horsepower. I mean, it in itself, it is a bit of a beastly car, but when you do actually put the exhaust on, it is the least interesting, and you guys are going to find out why. Now, I actually like Bentleys. I do like the finishing of them. I do think they have a good sophistication to it, but one thing I actually noticed is Bentleys don't actually age very well compared to other cars. I don't know why. I just feel like when you see a Bentley on the road, you can kind of tell it's slightly older or it's a year older. Whereas like other cars, they age much better. I don't know. You guys let me know what you think in the comments below. But that's how I feel about Bentleys. But however, the interior in itself is just to die for, and I'm going to show you guys later. Now moving on to the exterior of the car. So let's talk about how beautiful this actually is. Obviously we have the grille. It's huge. You've got the famous Bentley badge right here in the middle. Now the lights in itself, I mean, they've got this gorgeous detail. It looks like shattered glass and crystal. So when the lights come on, they just look magnificent. Now the paint in itself is actually not just a black color. It's a dark green color, which I think is pretty gorgeous, especially when you're out in the daylight. You can really see it. Because we're in VIP Motors right now, you can't really see the contrast of the paint. Now moving on to this side, the wheels in itself are 22-inch. And then when you look at the side of the car, I mean, it's longer than the GLS, but it's actually shorter than the Range Rover. There's been times where I've tried to get into the car and I've banged my head on here, which is obviously a funny sight to see, and we're not going to put that in the video. But when we're moving on to the back, now I really want to show you guys how big the trunk is. We even have the shattered glass here in the tail lights. And we saw the shattered glass at the front of the car with the bug eye lights that I showed you guys earlier. We even have the 4 quadruple exhaust underneath. Now you have the standard Bentley badge here. And then the thing is with this boot, it's actually rather large. You can actually open up the boot right here or at the front. Now when this boot does open up, you can actually see how much storage there actually is. Now, you know, it is a bit of a reach for me to actually get in here, and all in all, I mean, you can actually feel a lot of stuff in here. A buggy, a few suitcases. It is a good family car. Now, one thing I did want to mention is it's not like the G-Wagon where you can actually lower the car. So if you are loading stuff on, it might be hard if you are a short person like myself, or even actually getting the boot down. I had to do a jump earlier to try and get this down, and it was just as difficult as that. Now going into the interior of the car, now when you open the door, you've got the standard doors that you have to pull. Now when you actually open the door, you have the Bentley hologram turn up. I absolutely love that. I mean, it's on par with the branding. I think it's incredibly cool, especially during the night, and in Dubai it just looks so insane. Now when you shut the door, you can see that quilted leather on each side of each doors, but it really does give a luxurious element to the car. I think Bentley's interiors are absolutely unmatched. I do really like how the finishing is. However, I was really impressed by Aston Martin, the DB12. Thing is with this car, it seems like you're supposed to be driven in it, which is what I like. You've got the controls of controlling both the four windows on the driver's side, which you can only do here. And then when you're looking in front, behind the wheel, you've got carbon fibre surround, and you've even got it on each side of the doors and at the back as well. Now, moving on to the wheel. Now, I mean, there's not really much to say here besides the fact that you have the leather stitching, the Bentley logo on the wheel, you have the digital display behind the wheel as well. And they've really focused on the luxury element of this car. It's not really focused on performance. This is more about, you know, being driven in luxury, having comfort. Now, when you're in this car, there is a luxurious element to it. You can feel that the leather is of the highest quality, the stitching is of the highest quality. It really does have that feeling. And I'm not trying to bash a company at all, but I do think Bentley's interiors are way better than the Maybach. And, you know, I think the Maybach that I toured on my channel, yeah, okay, fine. But, I mean, yeah, okay, fine. It's not as nice, because it had like different perks and different things that people might not choose. But the way that the car feels, it feels completely different to a Mercedes. And I'm not being biased here because Bentley is British. You guys might think I am, but I'm not. Now, we even have a fire extinguisher underneath the seat, and this in itself actually opens, and here we have way more storage. Actually has more storage than the DB12, so obviously this is so much better. But, you know, once again, the DB12 is a performance car as well. It's not a car where you're supposed to be driven in, whereas this is completely different. So you have carbon fibre from the center console behind the digital display, and I mean, it does have such a clean finish to it. You also have that famous Bentley clock in the center. But the thing is, with this car, you have these seats that can actually measure temperature control and cooling, and it can actually box off each section and get rid of the odors or any other smells it has. So it basically does everything for you. You don't even have to do anything, which is pretty insane. Now, moving on to this. So the thing is with this car is that there's not so much tech in the car as such, but they have things that I think could make the drive and the journey a lot more smooth, especially if you are a driver. You do have the control of making sure that the air is purified in this car, which, you know, most cars seem to have this nowadays. You have this as well, where you can actually charge your phones. You've got the wireless charging, which I actually think is pretty cool, because the G-Wagon didn't have it, which I was not impressed by at all. Now, let's talk about this space. This actually feels incredibly smooth. When you're moving the buttons, I like how smooth they actually feel. There's not much, I mean, you don't really have to do much to move them, but I do really like the feeling of them. It's not plastic, it doesn't feel cheap. And we have the famous Bentley logo here. Obviously, this is pretty insane. So you can actually turn it to sports mode, Bentley mode, comfort, or you can customize it like you can do with most cars. Now, if you are going downhill and you don't want to skid off, you can actually press this button, and this will actually help you go downhill and control the car for you. Now, we have an additional storage here. I mean, when I open this up, you actually have USB Type-C ports, and then this as well for cigarette smokers. I mean, I don't know why people still smoke, but you know, this is the world we live in. We've got the leather stitching, and then you've got this beautiful finishing. I mean, all in all, I think, like I said to you guys, I am a big fan of Bentley. I just don't like how they age. I think they do a great job with the interior. They do a great job with the car. I think it's such a beautiful car and so comforting to sit in. But I don't think that, would I buy one? I don't know. I guess we'll have to find out in a few years. Now, moving on to this space. Now, with the roof, is not only do you have the sunroof, you also have the sunshades. You can just click the button here and it can automatically come down, and the sunroof itself as well. I think it's great. If you want the breeze but you don't want the sun, it's fantastic, especially if you're in Dubai during the winter times, which is like 24 degrees here. You just want to feel that fantastic breeze. Now, I'm going to take you guys to the back of the car, and I'm going to show you how spacious it actually is. When you actually get into the back, you have the same hologram that we saw at the front of the car. Now, when you do get in, it's an ease. It's not so much of a struggle as such. The door closes seamlessly. You don't have to slam it. like the G-Wagon. Now, we also have a tablet here, the same controls that we saw at the front of the car. You can control it here. Now, a lot of Bentley drivers actually have complained the fact that the tablet is all the way down here. And I understand, I mean, it would have been better if it was here, but they wanted to put the carbon fiber here and you guys to have fresh air. I mean, it has the same controls as you did with the back. I mean, you've got the quilted design here with the leather, the unlock, the lock, the window controls. It feels expensive. The leather feels luxurious. You even have the cup holders here, and then you have the Bentley stitching. I really am impressed with this car. I do really think the interior in itself does speak for itself. When you are in a Bentley, you definitely know it. Now, I'd like to thank everybody for watching my videos. I hope you guys enjoyed this tour. I definitely did. Now, my opinions are not the truth. It's my opinion. It's a review, and I want to know what you guys think. Let me know in the comments, what car do you want us to tour next? We would happily do so. I look forward to seeing you guys soon, and I'd like to thank VIP Motors for allowing us to tour this fantastic car. I'll see you guys in the next one.